When people criticize me, I know how to defend myself, but I'm powerless in the face of praise. One must be humble, one must keep personal preferences and antipathies in the background if one wishes to discover the realities of the world. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. The creative writer does the same as the child at play. He creates a world of fantasy which he takes very seriously. What progress we are making. In the Middle Ages they would have burned me. Now they are content with burning my books. When a love relationship is at its height, there is no room left for any interest in the environment. A pair of lovers are sufficient to themselves. Men are strong so long as they represent a strong idea. They become powerless when they oppose it. The dream is the liberation of the spirit from the pressure of external nature, a detachment of the soul from the fetters of matter. Where questions of religion are concerned, people are guilty of every possible sort of dishonesty and intellectual misdemeanor. We are so constituted that we can gain intense pleasure only from the contrast, and only very little from the condition itself. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. In mourning it is the world which has become poor and empty. In melancholia it is the ego itself. Smoking is indispensable if one has nothing to kiss. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. Where such men love, they have no desire, and where they desire, they cannot love. Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear will soon convince themselves that mortals cannot hide any secret. Trying to be completely sincere with yourself is a good exercise. Every man must find out for himself in what particular fashion he can be saved. Dogs love their friends and bite their enemies, quite unlike people who are incapable of pure love and always have to mix love and hate. Every man is a poet at heart. We can never give up, we only exchange one thing for another. We live in very remarkable times. We find with astonishment that progress has concluded an alliance with barbarism. The dream has no way at all of expressing the alternative either, for it usually takes up the two options into one context as if they had equal rights. Individual liberty is not an asset of civilization. Who lacks sex speaks about sex, hungry talks about food. A person who has no money, about money, and our oligarchs and bankers talk about morality. This is how men ought to be, in order to be happy and to make others happy, but you have to reckon on their not being like that. My love is something valuable to me, which I ought not to throw away without reflection. We shall not fall out of this world. We are in it once and for all. The ego represents what may be called reason and common sense, in contrast to the ID, which contains the passions. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. It is an honor to have plenty of enemies. We are so made that we can derive intense enjoyment only from a contrast and very little from a state of things. The dream is a sort of substitution for those emotional and intellectual trains of thought. Words were originally magic, and the word retains much of its old magical power even today. Religion succeeds in saving many people from individual neuroses, but little more. The process of dreaming transfers psychical intensity from what is important, but also objectionable, onto what is insignificant. The ego is first and foremost a bodily ego. It is not merely a surface entity, but is itself the projection of a surface. We never lose what we really want. A man's heterosexuality will not put up with any homosexuality, and vice versa.